Welcome to the Miracle You, guiding you on the journey towards finding passion and purpose and how to discover, create, and live a life by your design. Whether your success has been plentiful or your missed opportunities have been overwhelming, we can help you become a more empowered, masterful person and show you how to share your gift with the world. It's time to inspire change from within with the host of the Miracle You, Vince Kramer.
Hello, imagination. I'm Vince Kramer, your host, and welcome to the Miracle You, where you learn about the magic of living your life by finding the example in real life. Today's episode is very powerful in so many ways. Our guest, Bob Kittridge, brings so much to the table, especially when it comes to the leadership world. But one of the things that I'd like to really stress today as we listen to Bob and what he has to share is the importance of community. As a member of the John Maxwell team and actually a founding partner, Bob can tell us how important community is to bringing ourselves to the world and being able to share our gifts and talents in a way that is enhanced because of the energy of the communities that we're in. He also is going to share with us today how he and his wife, Nancy, bring their talents and gifts together, their individual purposes together to really change the world and to make a difference, not just separately, but together. I can't wait for you to get all this information that Bob's going to share with us today. I'd like to introduce our special guest today, Mr. Bob Kittridge, from Colorado Springs, actually the hometown of the Miracle You. Bob is an internationally recognized mentor, speaker, and trainer, and coach in the areas of leadership and personal development as well as team development. He's a founding partner and certified John Maxwell coach, speaker, and trainer. Bob works with corporate and political leaders by facilitating leadership development and transforming how they communicate and connect. He has a unique insight and understanding how people react during critical times in their lives and what motivates and inspires them. He is the founder of Kittridge Connection, a leadership and personal development company that equips individuals, entrepreneurs, thought leaders, and organizations with high-performance solutions to generate continuous improvement in personal effectiveness and business results. Welcome, Bob.
Thank you very much. It's my honor. I appreciate the invitation.
You're welcome, sir, and I'm so excited to have you here today. You know, one thing that I've learned as I've been doing the podcast is these intros are really nice, but they really don't delve into the person and into the business. So would you take a little bit of time and tell us a little bit more about you?
Sure. So my background is 30 years in the fire and emergency services. I was a structure firefighter, a wildland firefighter. I served on an national incident management team for many years. Through all that, I really, I was able to see people at their best and really people at their worst. And that really got me started to looking at some of that piece, although unconsciously, of human development. And after retirement, I'm not a sit by the, fishing pole and watch the world go by. I still got to contribute. And we ended up, my wife and I, enrolling with the John Maxwell team, mainly to be mentored by John. And I'll tell you, in the last 7 years, it has been an amazing ride in making a difference around the world and now our business and what we're doing for individuals and companies and organizations.
Oh, how awesome. And that's one thing that I really wanted to delve in today. You're a little bit different than the other guest I've had on in the fact that you and Nancy are on the same mission together. And like Mary and I, when you bring two purposes together, there's some difficulties there, but at the same time, there's also some power in the synergy of you. So what would you say that your mission, you and Nancy together, what your mission is?
Well, it's a great question because I'll tell you, we have spent a lot of years figuring that out. We've been married now over 20 years, and really have been doing everything together from businesses. We were married less than 6 months and actually built our own house, which you want to talk about challenges of two behavior styles, two personalities. Um, but I'll tell you, you've hit it right on the head, and that is synergy. Each person has their own strengths and weaknesses. And one of the things I love about us is where I'm strong, she's weak, where I'm weak, she's strong. And we've learned now over time how to manage that and work together. And we've just kind of come up with a new purpose. And this is kind of our new tagline of our business, and that's igniting ordinary outcomes into extraordinary life experiences. And that's what we do together as husband and wife, and also business partners and coaches, speakers, and trainers.
Wow, that is awesome. Could you share with us a little bit, maybe a secret or two on how to bring those two purposes together? There's so many people out there, and there's a reason why people get married. There's a reason why they bring each other into their lives. And they're supportive maybe in two different directions, but sometimes coming together and moving down the same path together. So could you share a couple hints or techniques on bringing two people together in one journey?
Yeah, wow. That could be a whole podcast just in that question right there. First and foremost, I've had to learn that I can't change her. She's who she is, and I love her no matter what. And it really is, how do we use each other's strengths? And, in the last couple of years, we've been associated with a company where we've really been able to use an assessment to understand the behavior style of people. And now that we see who we are on paper, we realize where we've had our troubles, where we've had our button heads, but yet where we really have brought things together. But I'll tell you, for me, the biggest thing is, one, I can't coach her, and two, I can't change her. And that's hard for me as a change agent and a coach. Is coaching is one thing I cannot not do, right? I mean, it's just who I am. But it really is being able to understand that who she is who she is, perfect, and perfect in that who she is brings to the world that piece of it. And I think, like I said, over 20 years now we've been married, and we've had our rough times. And the neat part about where we're at in our journey now is understanding ourselves and understanding others. We still have conflicts. We just don't stay there as long. And that's the thing is, it ain't gonna go away. We just have learned how to adapt and really not stay there as long in all the gunk as we used to do years ago.
Excellent. I'm sure if Nancy was sitting in that chair right now, she'd share almost the exact same thing in her words. I know that things are really changing for you right now, and you're looking to step into that next arena. But also, I'll venture to guess that life hasn't always been the way it is right now. And one of the things that I share with my groups in my teaching as well as my coaching is that we all have wake-up calls along the way. And those wake-up calls are to get our attention, and sometimes we hear them, and sometimes we don't. Sometimes we pay attention to them, and sometimes we don't. Can you tell us and give the audience a little bit of insight onto a wake-up call that really moved you into your journey?
Well, there's actually been two. And it's funny, looking at this last year and doing some things. One was 1982, honestly. And that was a decision that came in the back of a police car. The time of my life was very challenging. I was not, let's just say it was not the best times of my life, and I was trying to avoid life, and ended up in the back of the police car that night, and I knew that's not where I belonged or was meant to be. And that night there was a decision to start something different. And that was really the start of my personal growth path. So that was, I don't know how many years ago, right? 1982. Wow. And it's been a journey. It's been an up and down journey. But I'll tell you, the other one was 2.5 years ago, May 6th, 2016, is at about 2:00 in the morning, I had a small stroke. And that was a wake-up call. As a firefighter, I was in good shape. I ate well. I did all those things physically fit. But when I retired, it's easy how those little things slip away. And of course, the weight comes on and the blood pressure comes up. And um, so it was what I would call my, God will guide you by a feather or 2x4. And this was my 2x4. Luckily, it was just that. It was an awakening. I had some decisions to make. I had some choices to make. And we've done that now in our lifestyle, from eating to physical fitness to stress, just the whole gambit of things. But now that has made an amazing change in where we're at in life, to see us both physically, mentally, and what we're doing, what we're doing with others in that world also.
Awesome. Was there any time in your life where, as you look back now, there was wake-up calls that if you would have paid attention to them,
Oh my God.
you might not have had some bigger ones?
Well, I'll tell you, Vince, we could spend all day on this, right? I really had a self-limiting belief as I didn't make a difference. And as I look backwards, it's always easier to look in the rearview mirror than through the windshield, right? It's always, because that's already happened. Now we don't see it when it's coming; we've seen it after it's passed, and that's why I love through the windshield and really starting to look at. I think you can kind of create this history of your future. You can actually start to look forward. But boy, there was many times. I've been divorced twice. Married and divorced twice. I've been through some things that I absolutely, as I look back and said, wow, I wished I would have known. But the key there, what I found was I didn't. So my level of awareness was not that I was able to even do anything with it. But this year has really become a piece about understanding all of that had to happen. For me to be where I'm at today, to doing the things I'm doing today, I really did have to go through all of that stuff I've went through. Unhappy childhood, violent childhood, you name it. But now I can look at that in a different way versus a blaming way, and really start to, how do I develop myself now, using that as almost fuel for the fire, let's just say, for the future.
Right. That's one of the things that we teach in our Discover Your Miracle Life program is as you begin to look back and at the situations and the circumstances in your life, and you realize that each one has a gift, and you start looking for that gift, all of a sudden you not only change your future, but you actually change your past. It's an amazing thing. As you know, our company is called Imagine Miracles, and there's a big reason for it. And our definition of miracle is through an act of love, sharing your gifts and talents with the world so others can share theirs. Can you tell me about a miracle in your life, either the miracle that you were to someone or the miracle that someone was to you in giving their love and sharing their gifts and talents so you could share yours, or vice versa?
Well, I've got to start with Nancy, right? Short history. We met over 20 years ago in an elevator at a dance convention. And seriously, chance meeting. And some decisions were made that night and over the next few weeks that truly changed my life. And I look back on it now because I was going in a whole bunch of different directions. A chance meeting was, you could look at that as a miracle. She has supported me on all my crazy endeavors. She has supported me, but she's also been there as my guiding post, I guess, that reality piece for me, because I do have some pretty big ideas, some pretty big thoughts, and sometimes have to, have her kind of hold my feet back down a little bit. So I would say, first and foremost, just the miracle of meeting her and having her in my life has been where I'm at today. And we really saw that today. We had a kind of a gathering, a memorial of some firefighter friends. One of our friends have passed away. And, Nancy and I on the way home looked at things and said, wow, things could have been so much different. I listened to those guys and their stories and where they're at in their life and their medical, and it's like, yeah, we've made some changes that took us on a different path, and it's just been fabulous. So those are probably two miracles that for me, that I would say has really changed. And it's now allowed me to pour into others with that. And I think the third one is the wake-up call of the stroke. I realized I was not living my full potential. I realized I was goofing off. I realized I was, and so it was kind of God's way to go bap, right? And um, say, okay, straighten up here, buddy. You've got another chance. And that's why this year now, it's taken me 2 years to really get recuperated and really, but this year now designing programs, building programs, taking more coaching clients. Uh, we're just ready to launch a called Let the Job Talk program that's going to be kind of interesting in the world of hiring and assessments. So we're in a lot of trajectory going for some changes with that, but all of that could have changed in a heartbeat, May 6th. So that's definitely one of the big miracles for me, that it wasn't worse. It wasn't worse, and I'm still here to contribute.
Wow. One of the interesting things that you brought up there is that you have to take action throughout your life. That's the big difference. We're all getting messages along the way, but do you take action or not? Hopefully we don't have to get the big wake-up calls to take action, but once we take action, things just start to roll for us, and we can see throughout the world when people don't take action. And it's not that hard to take action if you've got the support and the belief in yourself. And I know your programs do so much of that through people. As you know, I'm a Maxwell coach also, and I know the power of what those programs bring to the world. You talked about a new program here. What would you like to do next in the world? What do you want to share even more?
Well, one of the things, so we love the personal growth side of our business. We've really figured now we have two pieces. Personal growth, kind of individual, and one of those is what I call history of your future. So, we can really sit down, and it's all called vision, right? So the best leadership book I know says those without vision perish. And for many years, I thought that had to do with eyesight, and it doesn't. And we really can create and live from that history to really design where we're going. So that's a program we're now working on, and we've got some curriculum put together, some different things on assessments, and then our other side is our corporate side, where we're really working on how do we have people understand themselves, because I really believe there's three factors to success: understanding yourself, understanding others, and the ability to adapt. So we're working on that with organizations to have people understand themselves first, and then understand others. You can communicate better, connect better, less struggle, less, all that stuff that happens in the team environment. And then for that greater result, you can, and not change, but really adapt for that greater good, for that greater vision, those greater results, instead of being stuck in all the, what I call the yuck of, all that other stuff, misunderstanding and misinterpretation and everything. So those are the two sides of our business right now. We're kind of working on the personal one-on-one side, and then the corporate side is where we're starting to work in.
I've got a feeling on that, and I'd like some feedback from you. What I've noticed is, be it an individual, be it an organization, be it a corporation, if you look at it as a whole, the micro through the macro, it's really not that big a difference. If you bring all the parts of you together as an individual, it's just the same steps and the same actions really as bringing all the parts of a corporation together and finding purpose and living that purpose. Do you have any comments on that?
Well, I do, because here's what we're seeing, and I don't know the exact figures of how much of the workforce is disengaged today when we think about that. And mostly because they're not living their purpose, mostly because they're being or happen to be somebody they're not. And that's what we love about some of our assessments, is we can show you who you are naturally, and then show you you are adapted, or in other words, when you walk through the door at work. So, when we're working with organizations and we do that assessment and the debrief, we can start to show where the issues are, because somebody has happened to be somebody they're not. And the closer we are to being who's God's designed us to be, who, we are created to be, the better we're going to be everywhere in our life. Home, family, community, jobs, and that's exciting. Then we can work on the process and the procedures at work. but let's work on you, who you are and who you're designed to be, so you can be that best.
Yeah, it's interesting that sometimes it's just who we hire, and are we hiring the right person from the inside out? But also, as you said, and I've noticed this many times in some of the work that I've done with people, is when you show up at work, you put that mask on. And really, they hired who you were at the heart level, but you've learned to put that mask on and walk in the door, and now you're not as effective, and
Yep.
your team's not as effective, and your business is not as effective because you feel like you have to put that mask on and be somebody different than you are.
Well, and if you think about it, and really, when you see, if you think about where we're at today in the corporate America or in any small business start, and that's, I love working with startups. I love working with small business, right? Because it's a more malleable kind of an organization willing to look at what they need to do and create. Is we hire on skills, knowledge, and ability. Resume looks good, the degree looks great, they interviewed well, but yet we fire on behavior and attitude.
Mm-hmm.
So, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days down the road, you're going, what happened to that guy we interviewed? Right. And because we do put on the mask more than likely at the interview
Right.
than we do when right? Because then when you get the job, you're good to go.
Right.
But that's not who they hired. And so what we're really starting to see is successful organizations are now hiring for fit and training skills versus hiring for skills and hoping they fit.
Right. Right.
It's we are kind of turning it upside down in that world. And the neat part about that as we do that is those folks are also better in their home life. They're better in their, because they're not bringing the stress now from work of being somebody else home. They're operating who they are. So it has double results there.
Well, yeah, I can see the benefits across the board. As you know, I'm big into quantum physics and understanding the energy of things, and the collective energy is so very powerful. So I'd like to bring the imagination all together to support you in sending energy to the next big project, the next big step you want to make. Where would you like that energy to go?
Boy, wow, which one, right? I'll tell you, I think it's our new project called Let the Job Talk. And we are looking at how to make a greater impact in the HR hiring world. So we're getting the right people in the right seat on the right bus at the right time, and doing that through really people development and awareness. That's our next project launch that we've got in the works right now. It's all kind of mapped out on a board and where it's at, and we're launching the different pieces here very soon.
Excellent. So all the energy of the people that are going to listen to this, that are listening to this, we're going to bring it all together to see Let the Job Talk really take off for you and Nancy.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
No problem. We're getting a little bit close to our time here. How about some lightning round questions?
Ooh, okay. Let's go.
All right. What's the biggest thing?
It's good because we got a storm outside, so we may get some lightning at the same time.
All right. That should give us the energy to move forward, right? What is the biggest thing that's holding you back from experiencing the life you want right now?
I'll tell you, it's belief. It really is, and I not lack of belief, but it's the belief I've really started to work through as being able to create content, and that's been one of my kind of things that have held me back is I'm no good at creating content, and so we're breaking through that right now, and that's my kind of fuel now is just doing that. So that's what's been holding me back.
Okay, and what's the best advice you've ever received?
I think two things. And one, I grew up with a great uncle in eastern Colorado on a ranch. And I remember the time I was growing up was as a teenager, not very confident. And he used to tell me, and he'd actually slap me on the back of the head, right? And he'd say, boy, always walk with your head up. Look where you're going, not at the ground. And that was probably, as I look back on it now, I didn't get that then. But it sure does. It sure is making a difference today.
It's pretty amazing how intelligent our elders get as we get older, isn't it?
Well, yeah. Yeah.
My dad keeps getting smarter every day, and I don't know how he does it.
Yeah. I'm just waiting for my kids to see that in me, right?
Could you share with us one of your personal beliefs that contributes to your happiness, health, and abundance?
Yeah, this has really been a shift, and that is to realize that I'm whole and complete resource in every way for success.
Oh, awesome.
There's nothing that needs to be added, only discovered, and that's been a spiritual journey for me over the last couple years to be looking at that piece of it, because I've pretty much looked at myself as broken. So,
Wow. Yes, sharing with everybody that all the answers are within. You already have the knowledge. I don't have anything extra to share. I just got to help you remember it.
Exactly. Yeah.
What's your favorite inspirational quote?
Well, and I have to say that, and it changes, right? It changes. But Henry David Thoreau says, if one advances confidently in the directions of his dream and endeavors to live the life in which he's imagined, he will meet with success, unexpected and common hours. And again, there's two things there, right? Vision and action. You have to be moving. You have to be, if your steps are going to be guided, they can't be guided if you're standing still.
Right.
And so we've got to be moving towards that. And I'll tell you, that's what's been happening this last year, is things have been all of a sudden popping into successes, and you're going, wow, right on. So that's probably my right now today favorite quote.
And one of my favorite mentors says that I can't tell you where to go if you're not moving.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
it's exactly what you said there. So spectacular. How about a parting piece of guidance for everyone?
I think just be you, but you've got to discover that first. And what I see is many people live through other people's approval, live through other people what they think they should be, and I did. And if we really step back and discover who we are and our purpose and our why, is that's when you excel. That's when you discover your gifts and you're able to share them.
Excellent. There's many people out there that want a little piece of Bob and Nancy Kittridge. How would they connect with you?
I'll tell you the best way. Our website is www.kittridgeconnection.com. And if you go there, there's actually a 4-part coaching series you can sign up for to talk a little bit about what coaching is and how we look at it and some of the results. But I'll tell you, I've been kind of thinking about what to do for your tribe. And if your listeners will send me an email, okay, to bob@kittridgeconnection.com, and in the subject line, put history of your future. And then kind of give me a little bit of who you are and that kind of thing. And we'll set up a complimentary, 15, 20-minute session to kind of walk through and seeing if we could discover the history of your future.
Oh, that sounds awesome. And what a generous gift. So I'll make sure that all that information shows up on the show page. For those of you who are listening, just go to the show page at themiracleu.com, and that information on how to get in touch with Bob and Nancy will all be there for you. Bob, it was so great to have you with me today. I appreciate all the knowledge and information that you shared with the imagination. I'm sure that I'm going to have you back in the future.
That would be awesome. And I'd love that. I was really excited when you invited me, so I appreciate it.
You bet. On behalf of Mary and myself, we hope that you and Nancy have a miracle day.
We are sure on that path today. So you enjoy the weekend also.
Thank you.
You've completed this episode of The Miracle You, but we have plenty more to help you discover your own personal passion and purpose. Head over to themiracleu.com for free resources to assist you on your journey, as well as register for our free webinar, Discover Your Miracle Life, 3 mind-awakening steps toward your unique purpose, or apply for a one-on-one Your Life, Your Way breakthrough session and discover your next best step on your journey. All available exclusively on our website. That's themiracleu.com. We look forward to sharing more experiences of passion, purpose, and life by design next time, right here on The Miracle You.